Hello and welcome to our finance session. So today we'll be talking about our earnings, how much do we earn, me and Haney, what are we planning to save, and what are kind of 3 different options that we're looking to hopefully do as part of this becoming liveaboards thing.
Hi, we're Haney and Mika, a couple of Finns on a journey to becoming liveaboards. We love our current life, but we're ready to follow another dream. So we've given ourselves 3 years to jump ship. From 2024, we'll be documenting our journey, from finances to boat selection to planning our new life on board. So join us as we navigate the highs and lows on our way to sailing the world.
Alright, so first of all, I want to highlight that we could in theory jump the ship immediately. We could just sell the house, get money out of it, use our savings that we have now and go for it. I know that there's many sailors out there that do exactly that, and kudos to you, nothing but respect for that approach as well, but that's not for us. So I think this is our story. This is way that we want to think about planning our lives, how to become liveaboards. We have nice careers, all sorts of comforts in our life. We want to go sailing full time, but we want to do it in a, let's say, sensible manner overall. Why? There's a few different things. One is we have nice careers at the moment, like I mentioned. We want to see how that pans out over 2 or 3 years. We still have ambitions overall. So that's kind of number one. Number two, we have a dog. Loves to be in the marina on the boat. Absolutely hates sailing. Is 11 years old right now, already a bit more than that. So I think dog is one factor that we do need to play in here. It would be hard to imagine leaving the dog completely behind. I think the third one is just mainly that we don't want to come home tail between our legs. We want to ensure that we have something to come back to if after 2 months we are miserable on the boat. Unlikely, but you never know. So this is kind of our way of planning it. Call it us being wussies or just sensible life choices. This is how our journey, how we want to make it happen overall, and we're going to be transparent about it as well. So that's why we're going to talk a lot about what do we earn, what can we save, how much we're spending, what are the different options overall. So options in terms of what do we need to save for at least like roughly meaning. Option one would be kind of go all in, sell the house, take all the savings, buy a nice catamaran, go sailing. A catamaran's roughly costs 300k, so it is an expensive investment. So we couldn't do it without selling the house, that's for sure. Or we could obviously buy a great monohull with that same price as well. I'm kind of surprisingly leaning towards catamarans, although Haney might need to be convinced otherwise, potentially. I think it comes a bit on our racing cruising background overall, that monohull performs well, you can actually sail with it. But being a liveaboard on a catamaran, we've been chartering catamarans multiple different years with friends. It's luxury, it doesn't roll in the anchorage and everything, so I'm kind of starting to lean more towards that option, but we'll see. So that's kind of option one, and we'll have a separate episode on catamarans and monohulls together and what are our dream boats on different price categories and so forth. But once again, whole new episode for that. Option two would be then more of kind of save the next 3 years, spend 2/3 of that money into buying the boat and 1/3 of that money to live comfortably for a year or two. Our aim is really hopefully not to worry about working while we're sailing, or at least not much working. So we would prefer to have 1 or 2 years of buffer to kind of live with our savings while living on the boat. But essentially with 100k roughly you can buy a decent boat. With 50k, 60, 70k you can live for 2 years. So that would be kind of within our range of getting a 200k as a total amount of money to put in a boat and that couple of years of living in a boat. So that's kind of option two. Option three is win a lottery and go luxury. And is big on doing lotto, as we call it here in Finland. Beyond Lotto, we do have some other opportunities to make money. We both work in a growth companies. Overall, you never know what's going to happen in 2 to 3 years. Nothing guaranteed, but it could allow us an opportunity to buy a bit of a bigger boat potentially as well if we would make any money through these companies overall. But once again, it's not a scenario that we are gonna bet our money on or kind of overall build our plan on, I would say more. So it's more of something that would kind of make our living so easy and everything, but our plans are built purely on scenario one or two, meaning selling house, or then the second option, what I forgot to add there was essentially first, of course, we would rent the house, so we wouldn't sell the house, we would just rent it out, make maybe a bit money on it, maybe plus minus zero overall. So that would be one option to do it overall. And we'll go through the boat selection, like I mentioned, on these different opportunities in the future overall. Welcome to my fancy Excel. So what I've done over the last couple of months is actually documented our current spending from the last 12 months. So how much do we spend on home and car and all the different things? And then I've created kind of a realistic saving plan for the year one. So this is now for year one only. So we're starting with baby steps. But let's look at the left side of the things first overall. So our current spending per year per month. Home. Of course, home is one of the biggest expenses that we have, especially loan and interest. All the maintenance thing is that you have to. We live in a housing company overall with hundreds of other apartments. Electricity, internet, insurance is not big cost, but overall the loan and interest, that's the big portion of what we need to pay back. I think we have like 380k of loans still left, so the interest, especially right now, is quite steep. Hopefully it will get lower, and we just changed to a 3-month Euribor as well. So keeping my fingers crossed that within the next 3 years especially, this cost will go down significantly. Car at the moment, that's a really big expense. I have a leasing car for my company, so this is not purely from net income, but it takes a 10k per year. Parking is getting expensive, all the insurances and leasing. Boat. So I own a boat currently with a friend of mine, 50-50. The kind of loan and interest that I have a bit of loan and interest left, not that much anymore luckily. The marina, the insurance, winter storage, and the upgrades, this is the average over the last 4 years for the boat. So roughly I've been spending 13,000 for the boat. Once again, a huge expense. Next, travel, and this is actually expenses across me and Heini together roughly. So kind of think about it as a combined income. Travel, we love traveling. We love fancy traveling, unfortunately. That is quite big expense. Groceries as well. We like nice food. We like cooking. Takes a bit of money per month. Eating and drinking out, part of it is on the kind of travel trips. Insane amount of money. In addition to the food delivery, these are really something that we need to cut down. And then other expenses. So roughly, this is not 100% accurate, but roughly we spend 100k per year, 2 of us, on all of these different things. This is our earnings, salaries, investments, etc. Leaves us a bit of money at the end of the day, but not enough to leave our jobs and really go sailing full time. Like you can see, there's a lot of things that we can cut to start planning for our sailing trip overall. So what's our saving plan then for the year one? It's hard to save much from the kind of home expenses overall. The the loan and interest, that will get lower for sure. And we could consider renting the house for 1 or 2 months per year, for example, through Airbnb. We're quite a lot abroad and everything, working remotely, traveling and so forth. So that's something we could consider. So hopefully we can shave off some from the home, and over the years the interest rates and so forth hopefully will go a bit down, not to zero anymore, but I think we can definitely save on that. So there will be some savings on the home, but I think that's not going to be the main one until we've rented out fully and move somewhere else, which could be more of a year three option overall. Then if we go down the kind of list, car. So car is something that we are now definitely getting rid of. The leasing ends end of January anyway, so in a month from now. So that's going to be a perfect time. We're going to still need some car to go around. We can borrow friends, family, so forth, or use some rental services to go around. That will still generate a bit of expense, but a car, we just don't use it enough. There's no point of us keeping it. Boat. This is kind of the most painful part for me, at least personally. So I think we do need to get rid of the boat. Meaning that I would sell my 50% to my friend, or we would put it on the market overall. I don't think we will be able to necessarily sell it immediately now during the winter time, snow outside and everything. So I'm kind of thinking that in the year one, I might need to still pay a bit of the expenses and everything, not necessarily upgrades, but some of the loan and so forth. But this is also a good thing that I actually have quite a lot of money in the company, so that becomes quite nice amount of savings overall. So I might get 30k or whatever out of this, even paying off a small amount of the loan that's left. So that's gonna be pretty handy. Travel. I now put 10k here, which still seems quite a lot of money for traveling. In fairness, we are going to Seychelles in January, February for a couple of weeks, chartering with friends and everything. We like traveling. I'm gonna keep some money in that one. Groceries, we actually already have started a limit of 500 per month maximum. We like to eat well and healthy, so we don't want to kind of go completely down the road of eating noodles for the next 3 years. Eating and drinking out, trying to keep it reasonable as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're not gonna try to go on a shoestring and eat noodles and cut all the expenses. We want to still, over the next 3 years, kind of enjoy our lives, go out with friends and everything, travel around a bit, eat healthy, nice, so forth. But we do want to keep things in control, and I'll show you kind of what we're gonna be saving overall. Food delivery as well. This is probably way less as well. Other expenses, doctors, clothes, dogs, streaming services, spas, whatnot. So there's gonna be a lot of other expenses on top of it. But really, if you compare these ones, and if our net income would remain the same, we could save quite easily 40 to 50k per year in euros. In 3 years, that would be 150k plus our current savings that I'll talk about later on as well, but would allow us to go for option 2 in our plans. For example, buying 100k monohull, having money for 2 years to maintain it, live aboard and everything. So kind of would get us a couple 100k in total to spend on this dream of ours overall. So that's a quick example of calculations in the savings plan. We'll keep you posted how things go, what are we cutting, how's our bank account looking. We'll create a calculation of our current kind of savings as well that we can already spend. Not a huge amount of money, but something that we're happy to throw into this bucket of money to use overall. Lastly, what's our starting point in terms of all the savings? As of 1st of January 24, we have roughly 14k in our savings that we can use for this dream of ours, and like we discussed, 200,000 within the next 3 years is really the savings goal for us. It also includes different things like selling the boat and so forth, but especially cutting down expenses in our life. That's all for today. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like our video, and next time I think we'll see in Seychelles.